The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Friday night, another Hot 10 show. The crew is here. Stein has got his Reds cap on because they are kicking ass, but hey, man.
They lost tonight.
Yeah.
I'm actually a Reds fan right now, so.
I was worried about Corbin Carroll for a second there, but he's in the
Didn't he hurt his shoulder?
Tonight. Yeah, he's in the lineup tonight, though. Yeah, so 60 live watching right now. Thanks you guys for hanging out with us live every Friday night. Hit that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, take a second. Just hit that subscribe button. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this content tonight if this is the first time you're seeing it. If it's not the first time you're seeing it and you're subscribe. You're back. You enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, those thumbs up are great. And thank you to everybody that hangs out with us in the live chat. I see a lot of people every week in there that we just have so much respect for, and this community is amazing. And thank you to all our mods and everybody that helps out with the channel just by watching. We really appreciate you guys. So,
absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Richie, you're getting close to 700, brother.
I know. It's been it's like a snail trail, so slow. Yeah. We had a good show. We trampolined off of hey Ben, thank you for that. That's pretty freaking awesome. Look at that. $20 super chat by Mr. Longshort. Thank you, Ben. You're awesome, dude. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my boy Ben Deshane, aka Mr. Longshort. Guy is by day a financial whiz. I think he's a financial analyst or some kind of investment banker of some sort, but the guy is good with numbers. And by night, he is a great speculator, Mr. Longshort.
Yeah, much love, brother. We appreciate you. The Ghost Battles is pretty interesting. If you guys haven't seen the Ghost Battles, let me show you what it's become, okay? It's become something that I never thought it would turn into. You saw the Ghost Battles last night. Was it last night? Wednesday night. I showed the original Ghost Battles, the original video, Stein's original video. But not only do we have Stein joining in on it and, all that fun, but our boy Josh.
Well, Aaron. You are correct. I did.
And this is in reply to Yeezy-E, who I guess Yeezy-E must have said something to him. Let's see here. Where's Yeezy-E's? We probably got to play that first, but we'll play it backwards.
Just start collecting sports cards. And no, I have never seen that white sparkle Steph Curry, but I know that those cost quite a few points. But have you ever seen this? This was the 2017 Panini Meta X Black Lantern Batman.
So now it's going to cards. But if you thought that was crazy, I don't think it gets much crazier than this. Hold on. Where's Dennis? I think Dennis has joined in on it.
It's so cute watching House of Stein and Mr. Longshort, and now Yeezy's getting involved. You guys are so cute with your little ghost challenge. Let me challenge all of you. Let me challenge the entire industry. I bet you Todd doesn't even have one of these. Advanced Comics order book. Not the previews, the order book for Spawn #1. Only one on the census.
Pretty crazy, right? Wow. This is all because of you, Stein. I hope you're happy.
I saw that Rob Fordham was in on it now with an OA challenge as well.
Oh boy, let's go take a quick look at Rob's. All right, here we go.
I've been challenged around Cueva Comics. This is mine. Jeff DeCall 2017.
Is that it?
Beautiful sketch cover. Sketch guard. Show me what you got.
That's pretty
Yeah,
dope. Dude.
click on Cuevas.
Hell yeah. What up, Rob?
It's I mean, I can't compete with OA stuff.
Right here.
Yep.
Hey Rob, I see our friends are doing some challenges on IG, so I figured why not do one for original art. So here we go. First up, I got Psylocke by Jeff DeCal, done in 2022. Getting those Sade vibes.
That's beautiful.
You're up.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, man. That's cool, dude. That's cool. So I wonder who's going to be joining the circle next. We'll have to keep an eye on.
Hey,
it.
see, anybody who says we don't like to have fun is just salty.
They don't watch. They don't know what we do.
Yeah,
So.
it's just fun. We're all just having fun. That's all we're doing.
Yeah. All right. You guys know how this works. We start off with Buy the Dip and the Almost 10, then we get into the Hot 10. We got a lot to go through tonight. 98 live at the beginning of the show. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Well, let's do it. Here we go. Starting off on Buy the Dip with this weird Spider-Man book that I don't understand the name of it. It is Custom Sony Interactive Entertainment 2023 #1, but in reality, it's Gamer vs. Spider-Man 2 #1. But where did this thing come from, man?
It was so that came out what back in May.
Yeah,
It was like 2 days before Free Comic Book Day or something.
Yeah,
Some
it was
week.
like right at the same time. It was Free Comic Book Day, and everybody was going crazy. Remember, it even made the Hot 10. Like people were paying like $25-$30 for it. Like it was insane. Like what people were paying for that thing, and there were tons of sales, and it just made no sense to me whatsoever. I'm like, I don't know why you guys are paying for this. Like it's just a free book. Like,
And the listing and all the listings said first appearance of the Hood, and that was kind of like the draw because of the whole Ironheart thing. But first appearance of the Hood is in 2002 in a Marvel Max book. This is just a variant of the Hood, and the continuity in the guts of that book is the PS5 gamer verse. So
yeah. See, look in the chat. Look, everybody has this
101.
Everybody has it. I don't have it, but
I don't have it.
Everybody else does. So you can tell how plentiful this thing is. But yeah, so I threw it on here because so people graded these things already. So they're already graded. But this thing, while there were a few higher sales, there was a low sale of $43 for a CGC 9.8 of this. So anybody that was paying like $25-$30 for this thing raw you're way behind. At $43 for 9.8, it's about, including shipping both ways, it's about $30 to $35 to get a book graded. So you shouldn't be paying any more than like $5 to $10 for this book at the most.
Hey Stein, is your headset mic down, or check to see if your
my headset's not not working.
Okay,
I don't know why it's not.
Though.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I cannot get my mic. Every week it's an issue. When I come on, it will not connect to it.
We can hear you okay though.
I can hear you. I can hear you through it. It just for some reason it will not work.
That is weird, dude.
I know.
Yeah, I love these weird books like this too. They did another thing. Is this? Sorry, I was trying to fix some stuff with the chat while you guys were talking, and I was zoned out. But is this the book that Penguin Random House? Was it Penguin Random House sent just to a bunch of people, or was that a different book?
I mean, the distributor for Marvel is paying Random House, so I would
Okay,
think they
so,
would have-
so just as a thank you, they sent these books out, just stacks of these books out to people, right? That's what they did? Was
yeah,
that
the promotional. It was
Yeah.
a promo. I don't know
Yeah.
if they sent them free because we talked about this on Modern Comic Mayhem, which Modern Comic Mayhem on Beyond Wednesday's channel every Saturday night, 6:30, 7 p.m. Pacific time. We talked about it, and we were talking about what it cost. I think Jesse was on the show then. Might not have been, but we were talking about how much Free Comic Book Day costs for retailers, and it typically costs between 17 cents to like 20 cents. We were asking what this one costs, but it didn't seem we got an answer. So,
Yeah. So Funhouse is saying he didn't even ask for it and it was just in his stack on Wednesday. So that's cool. Hell yeah. That's a good store. You got to love that when that happens, you know? So, all right. Let's move on to Harley Quinn. This is issue number 24, the JSC homage by Warren Lau, and limited to 1,000. I remember when this book came out, but man, buy the dip that quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these things were selling like crazy. But again, 9/8 of these are very, very plentiful. I mean, it's a pretty cover. I would not, but the Virgin CGC 9/8s are at an all-time low. I mean, all-time, meaning a couple months. $83 for a 9/8. The trade is only $58. So people who are paying like $40, $50 raw on these things, you overspent, or if you just were like, I'm not paying that then, the price is already back to affordability.
Well, there you guys go. And it is very stunning. I agree with the chat. Beautiful, beautiful cover here. I might pick one up. Who knows?
For 50, I mean, the trade dress is nice. I mean, for $58.
yeah, I'm not big on retailer exclusive variants, but I probably think about this one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. If I saw this in a box, I might grab it. It's really good. Shout out to Mojo Pin for the super chat that you guys are about to see. We appreciate you, brother. He says, a perfect circle. I agree. Whatever that means. I love a perfect circle.
Am I supposed to do the...
I don't know. Or you're supposed to put on a wig and a bustier.
And a dress.
Sing, yeah, and a dress and sing.
Yeah, I saw him with Korn in 2000, I think, 2000.
I like a perfect circle better than Tool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I love Tool.
That's a bold statement right there.
And I love Tool, but dude, Billy Howerdale is amazing guitar player and song extraordinaire maker. So, all right, on to the next one. Marvel Now, .1, number 1. Joe, where are you at, buddy? I can hear you crying right now.
Yeah, Richie, did you talk about this? You said you talked about this yesterday?
Yeah, we talked about this. I think it was like number 5 or 4 on the live stream. We just so you guys know, by the dip segment, we trampoline from the Friday night show onto my channel. I think our raws were down almost like 75 to 80% over the last 12, 13 months. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. This book was super sought after. And, I brought up the point that, Kamala has died in the comics or whatever with that stupid, promotional bull BS that Marvel pulled, like an Ultimate Fallout 4 Part 2 thing. But I think the spec is that she's coming back, and then they're going to run parallel with the Earth 1999 with the MCU and say she's a mutant in some kind of different kind of, look. I don't know if it was Brian's show or not, but in the solicits, you could see Kamala, and she's about the size of like Ant-Man, and she's sitting on somebody's shoulder, so she's coming back. So I thought it was a good bargain. And plus, you know, she's alive and well in the MCU. I mean, Kamala is going to be in the Marvels, and that show is supposed to have a
Avengers.
season 2. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, CGC 9/8 of these peaked at 2K, but one sold this week for $385.
exactly, it's crazy.
Dude,
That's
I
a
have
great
like
investment.
3 of these. I wish I should have sold them. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Have you seen, you guys? I mean, a lot of you guys can attest to this. This book is tough in 9/8. It has this color breaking spine tick. A lot of them in the top left spine. I'd say about 1.5 inches off the corner. I mean, it's tough in 9/8. I'm sure there's probably plenty on the census, but it's tough in 9/8. So that's a great book.
That's what I was looking at real quick.
What were the second prints selling for? Weren't they like 2,700 or
They
2,500?
were huge.
Yeah.
I brought that up too. Like, that's a great point you bring up. Like, yeah, I mean, those are way down too. It's crazy.
All new Marvel Now .1.
Are you doing a live buy right now?
No.
Share the screen? No.
Okay, there are 2,800 graded of the first print. Only 400 9/8, so 1 in 7. That's not very many.
Wow, they're so 400. Yeah, you're right. I was wrong about that. Nice.
The second print, there are 45 9/8
Wow.
out of 184 graded.
Uh-huh.
I'm not surprised, man.
I like the blue on the second print. I think it's just beautiful. It just, I don't know, it looks nice.
The thing about this book that I just don't like is I just have a really hard time believing that this is actually. I just can't get past the fact that this is her first appearance.
Her first full.
Right. Because when she's right there on the cover of 17 second print, it's hard to get. It's for my mind. I can't get past that.
Yeah. It's kind of tough when she's on a cover but not in the book, right? That's always going to be.
Well, I think she isn't like her arm or like part of her body in the book.
No, she's the 17. I mean, the last page is her. Is she just not in? She's just not in costume. Yeah, she's just not in costume.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for sure, man. I don't know. I like this. I like the second print even more. I agree with Richie. It looks good, and she's on the cover and in the guts. Yeah. But we will move on to another young, a new character, female character around the same time. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 4, the Ramos 1 in 10 variant. First appearance of Cindy Moon as Silk.
yeah, now we know that this is not a low print.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was pulling these out of the Five Below packs, but they were also pulling out the the Miles Jurjevics as well. So
I didn't know that. Wow.
oh yeah, there was there were tons of that. That's why the prices on those things dropped into oblivion, and they did on this as well. I mean, I remember when those Five Below. I mean, you could get rolls of these for like $50, cheap, but it's at a very, very low. A CBCS 9/8 of this sold for $310, which is really low for this book. Like, probably the lowest price has been in 4 years.
Right.
So if you do like this cover, I mean the good thing, I don't like Ramos, and her hip is she almost looks like a camel, but she is on the cover, so I mean that is a plus.
Amen. I agree. On to the next one. Oh boy. Incredible Hulk, issue number 181. First full appearance of Wolverine is on By the Dip.
Yeah. Okay. So if you've listened to me over the past 5 years, I've said that this book is way, way, way overpriced, like insanely overpriced. I get that Wolverine is super popular. I get that. I get that this is a blue chip. I get it. But where the prices that it was at was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
it
10
was,
grand for like 8 O's, right? Or 7 O's were like 10 grand.
It just felt the whole thing just feels like a money laundering operation. And
Right.
it was just, that's what it felt like. Whether it is or not, obviously I'm not going to say, but what I found really interesting about this one this week was that a CGC, this is in the exact same Heritage auction, a CGC 60 Signature Series with Roy Thomas sold for $2,700. A Blue Label non-signed CGC 6.0 sold for $3,100. So almost $400 more for a non-signed as opposed to a signed book.
Ouch.
So what I kind of wanted to talk about was just the fact of, I know a lot of people love to get their books signed. I get it. And if it's something for your own personal collection, have at it. But when you start signing these super liquid, super available books, I mean, you paid for the signature, you paid CGC extra to get it witnessed, and you paid more for the grade. And then you took $400 less on the actual sale. You're really, really hurting yourself when you do stuff like that. So I'm not saying people always get their books signed to sell them, but if your thought process is at some point, I'm going to sell this book, that doing that is not necessarily the best thing to do. I would just watch what you do when you're getting some of these books. Now, if it's just a common book, yeah, get it signed, absolutely. But when you're talking about something that already has value and is sought after, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot on that.
I have one of these. I got it signed by Len Wein and Herb Trimp, and I regret it, man. I regret it. I regret two things. I got it in silver, and I didn't want them to sign where they normally sign, and they usually sign in black on their letters of their names, and I didn't want it. I said sign in silver at the bottom, because I felt like the black in the name really takes away from the book, and I felt like silver wouldn't take away from the book, but I feel like I would make more if I had the black signatures in the letters than the silver on the bottom. What do you guys think?
I agree. That's a good point.
No, and Tom says that's an outlier. That is not an outlier. I'm telling you that this is a common occurrence.
Wow,
really?
For books to sell like this. Yeah, I mean, when you talk about common books, a Spawn 1 that's got a McFarlane signature on. Okay, that's a common book that's not expensive. That is not, Spawn 1 is not a blue chip. When you're talking about mega keys, those are the books I'm talking about. It's the same thing in sports cards. You don't take your Pete Rose rookie card and go have Pete Rose autograph it, unless it's like a 1-0 or something like that. But if it's a high grade or a decent grade, you don't get an autograph on it. Take one of his other cards, get that signed. It's just it's a bad marketing move.
Lord of Brooklyn has a really good question for you. He says, question, wouldn't signing increase the value of a low-grade book?
That's why I say, I mean, the same thing, if you have like a 1-0 or something like that, that may increase it. But again, when you get these autographs, there are so many people that don't like autos. that your market shrinks in half at least, just in buyers to start with. So once you start taking half of your buyers away, that's already you're putting yourself behind an 8 ball, and it's just a tough spot to do. Like I said, I mean, there are tons. I mean, when you look at when you look at GPA and how many combinations of signatures are on this book, it's insane how many different combinations of signatures are on this book. And definitely Roy Thomas would be at the bottom of that list, I would say. You just, like I said, you're taking a huge risk that you don't need to take.
Yeah, Ryan says if I could go back, I wouldn't have had my ASM 300 double signed if I knew it was going to go from a newsstand 9.4 to an 8.5. Yeah, they jacked your book up, man. Whether it was, see, that's the other problem. You don't know if it's the creators that are manhandling it, because I've seen creators manhandle books. But at that point, if CGC is like doing an in-house signing, because I think Ryan sent it in to an in-house signing, you would think that they would do everything they could to make sure that artists don't even touch the books. So
yeah. Look. Wookiee Fodder says he'll never buy an auto book,
yeah.
and that is not an uncommon sentiment. Everybody will buy blue labels. Your market is wide open for blue labels. Yellow labels. Well, again, I mean, I have a couple. I mean, I have a Stan Lee that I'm never going to sell. That's my one Stan Lee auto. I'll keep it forever. And I have a couple. I have like a Michael Turner, and that's, But other than that, I have no desire for any of those things. So I'm not going to spend a premium on them.
There's a couple things that we should probably talk about with having this book up. One, the facsimile foils have hit the market, and they're all over the place for this book. And one of the things that we were going to put on By the Dip, but it was just weird, but to put them on there this way, but we can talk about it this way, are the facsimile editions. Some of those facsimile editions are getting crazy money, but also some of them are super cheap. Is it just random what they sell for, or is there certain ones that always sell for a little bit more money? I saw a facsimile like FF1 go for $40 the other day, raw.
Wow. I looked at and I looked, and this is why I mentioned it to you, Brian. Is I saw a ton of facsimile CGC 9.8s sell for less than $20.
Wow.
I mean, so like, first of all, I don't know why you would get them graded. It seems weird that you would get a facsimile graded, because what's the point? But yeah, I don't see any appeal whatsoever. I mean, when I was a kid back in the 80s, we used to get like baseball cards that were like reprints of like 52 Bowmans or 38 play balls or something like that. Everybody had a Honus Wagner, reprint. They're worth nothing. I mean, they're worth like less than nothing. You wouldn't pay money for those. You just give them to people. The same thing with these facsimile. Why would you pay for these? I don't understand
really weird.
why. I don't know why you would pay for them. They're literally worth nothing.
They're there so you could so you can have tangible reading material. So you have if you don't have the deep pockets, or you don't have a digital subscription to Marvel, you can read the story, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess, I mean,
why would you get them graded?
Yeah, why would you get them graded? Right. and sell them for less than $20. I don't know. It's so confusing, but like I said, I thought it was an interesting topic, to talk about. But like I said, I know some people they have tons and tons of Signature Series books. Ask them how liquid are those Signature Series books? They're not very liquid. They're harder to sell. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for an Incredible Hulk 181, I don't know if now's the time. I don't know if you want to wait a little bit longer. I feel like
they're all great. All grades. across the board, way down, way down from their highs.
What do you think the print run is on that book? 500,000?
Oh gosh,
Maybe
yeah.
$1 million?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
You think $1 million?
750?
I'd say
750?
I'd say 500,000.
Hmm.
I mean, I could be way off, but I would say, I mean, how many are in the census? Just in the graded census.
Well, I'm thinking about the Uncanny X-Men Byrne Claremont start. I mean, those were like what, 300 to 450,000. So
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
So,
Do you think that putting out the facsimiles are hurting the price point on this?
no, I don't think that matters with this book. There's 14,000 on the census.
wow. Any 9.9s or 10.0s?
There is a 9.9,
Wow.
but 14,000. There's literally one at every single grade except for 10.0. There's a 0.51, 1.5, 1.8. I mean, it's every single grade except for a 10.0.
Wow. Interesting. There you go, you guys. Let's move on. I want to remind everybody, go check out Spec Media, Richie's channel. He's got some great content over there. Just did a great full Buy the Dip segment with much more information and a lot of great books that is worth looking at right now. So go check it out ASAP. And sub up. Get them to 1,000. All right, here we go. Moving on to the Almost 10. Starting off with a Michael Jackson Moonwalker cover that is awesome, that I didn't know about, and it's 3D. This is Blackthorn 3D series issue number 75. And I remember when this came out, and I remember the Sega video game, playing the Sega video game all the time. And to be honest, as a kid, the Moonwalker little movie thing he did was actually kind of cool. You know, the Annie, Are You Okay dance in the bar and stuff. That was super cool. But I don't know if I'm going to run out and grab this comic right now. What do you guys think?
So this one, it's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
The sales on this were very, very strange. But this week it sold for $250 for a CGC 9.6. Now it is a very black cover. Not because Michael Jackson's on it, but because the borders are black.
Yes.
But yeah, so when you go back in the history of this book, in 2013, a CGC 9.6 sold for $800.
Whoa.
Yeah. But then in 2018, this sold for $66. And then last year sold for $145, all in CGC 9.6. And then this year, $250. So in the last 5 years, it's gone from 66 to 145 to now 250. So it's kind of a very strange
Outlier,
price. Yeah, it's a very strange price. I mean, to be 800 10 years ago, and then within 5 years drop all the way down to $66, and now it's back up to 250. It's kind of weird. But
I wonder if somebody found like a couple cases of them somewhere.
There's just not. I mean, there's literally like one sale a year, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they're like different. The one that sold for 66 in 2018 had the same serial number as the one that sold this week. So, but all the other ones were all like different serial numbers and stuff. So it's very strange.
Decor says Amazing Heroes 117 has a really cool Michael Jackson Captain EO cover. That's cool. I remember Captain EO too. Disney, right? I think I got a Captain EO. I think I went to Disney, and it just so happened that Captain EO was opening that weekend, and we got like these special magazines from it. I got to go look for those. But cool stuff. Next on the list, John Wick #1 from Dynamite. Interesting. How many people out there bought the John Wick series and the other series? What was the other series that he did?
That who did?
That Keanu Reeves did?
Bill and
Berserker?
Ted?
Berserker.
Oh, Berserker. Yeah.
Yeah, how many people read Berserker and John Wick? I want to know the people that read both. That would be interesting.
I haven't read either, but I have seen every
Movie.
one of the movies of John Wick. So
Yeah, so this one, I remember when this went up. I was probably when maybe the third John Wick movie came out. I can't remember exactly, but it's been fairly, I'd say, fairly pricey for a Dynamite A cover of a number one.
Yeah.
But this week, a CGC 9.8 of this sold for $425, which is an all-time high. That is crazy high for this.
especially this market right now, right?
Yeah,
How much?
$425.
Wow. And this is just the regular A cover.
This is just the A cover.
That's interesting. John Horn says John Wick was really good. Berserker was okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, and let me say that. And let me say this. So over the past, since March, I've been in the training department, and one of the questions that I would ask each, new people that were coming through was, name what your favorite movie is. And I kid you not, there were two movies that across the board, everybody said that were their favorite movies. And John Wick was one of those two. Like, it was crazy. It was Inception and John Wick. Those were like the two most popular.
Wow. That's interesting.
Were what most people said that were their favorite movies.
Inception is the one with Leonardo DiCaprio where everything's like.
And this is and this was men and women. Like, men, there was a ton of women that said, "I love the John Wick movies."
That's very interesting. And Oppenheimer's getting ready to drop another Christopher Nolan movie. I suggest people go see it in IMAX. But if you have this book and it's in high condition, high grade, send it in. Get it graded. Pay the cheap money and sell a book for $400. That is not worth $400 to me. So, yeah. Anyways, next. This one is cool. Fantastic Four, issue number 16, the Alan Davis 1 in 75 variant. I love Fantastic Four covers with like all the characters. I love character covers like this, but Fantastic Four are always good. I always talk about the Art Adams one that I love the most, all the Art Adams, group covers, but this one's really cool, and it has the Watcher on it. So
I knew you would see that Watcher on there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Shout out to Ferdy.
Yeah, make sure you
happy Friday, fellas. You three rock. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, make sure you go give Ferdbird a follow on
Amen.
Instagram.
Yeah, follow his YouTube channel too. Shout out to the OTR guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So. So this 1 in 75, but it was only selling for like $10. So this was like super, super, super cheap. But for whatever reason, this week it's selling for $50. So it's still below ratio, but considering it was only a $10 book and now it's selling for $50 is a big jump.
I've never seen this ever, but I never look in Fantastic Four.
Nope,
Yeah.
nobody does.
Maybe we need to start. All right. Alan Davis was at Heroes Con last month, says Chungy. That's pretty cool. Alan Davis, famous Captain Britain artist. So, all right, here we go. On to the next book. A beautiful Red Sonja, issue number 50, Joe Jusko cover right here. Absolutely gorgeous.
How old is Joe?
Probably old.
It seems like he should be really old, right?
Let me take a look. I'll look it up. Hold on.
Okay. While you're looking that up, so this is like the C cover, I think, or D cover. I don't know. They're obviously, it's a Dynamite book. They put a bunch of covers out there, but this one sold for $100 this week.
Wow.
It's not an incentive. It's just $100 for this.
He is 63 years old, Stein. Not as old as I thought. He's actually pretty young.
That's amazing, considering how long he must have started when he was like in his
17,
20s,
16,
right?
yeah. Man, that's a great cover, dude.
Good for him.
Yep, I agree. And he's got that classic signature.
Oh, yeah.
It's so classic. That's good shit, man. All right. $100 if you guys can find it. Issue number 50 from Dynamite. Moving on. Actually, before we move on, shout out to Dynamite. I always think that Dynamite prints all these variants and they're never going to be worth anything, but there's been a couple Dynamite books on the list lately. So shout out to Barucci and everything he's doing over there, man.
You just have to you have to weed through 85 covers to find the one that's a good one.
Yeah. Every once in a while, there's one title that's got like 5 different great ones. And the lyrics ones that he's been doing, the ultraviolet ones, have been great. Shout out to the one and only Mrs. Horsecock Express for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Moving on. Irredeemable, number 1. The John Cassaday cover, the A cover, classic series right here, man. And supposedly he signed a deal. Did he not sign a deal somewhere to do this? And didn't this get optioned a long time ago? Or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I heard something like that.
Yeah, I thought so too. I just was surprised that, like most of these indie books, they get hot like initially, and then everybody kind of forgets about them. But clearly not with this one, because this week a CGC 9.8 sold for $600.
Wow.
Yeah. 600.
That's pretty damn good. And there's variants for this in second prints, third prints, right?
It's so hard it's really hard to actually find. Like if you try and do a search, there's so many different covers, and it's hard to find the A cover, which is really irritating. But
Yeah.
I wish there was like a set listing that would say, so you could find what you're looking for on some of these things. But
Oh yeah. Crazy stuff. All right, next. All right, you guys. Critter, issue number 4. Is this the NYCC variant, I believe? 3D edition.
yeah, I was wondering why you asked me, and I just now realized I gave you the wrong book number. That's why you were asking what it was. But
Well, here's the weird thing. Cover Price has this also listed as issue number 2, but I actually called. I put in a call to a ringer who is pretty close to Tom Hutchinson, owner of Big Dog Inc. and creator
Jesse?
of this book. Shout out to Jesse James. Yeah, I gave him a call and I said, "Hey Jesse, is that Critter 3D Spider-Man homage? Is that issue 4 or 2?" And he's like, 4. I'm like, okay. So, this is one of those books that I tell everybody all the time, I used to love collecting homages of this pose, and there are some really tough ones to find, and this has always been one of them. I don't own one. I collect most of the homage covers of this pose from like 2017 and beyond and before. So this is a tough one to find, and this book is, well, how much did it sell for, Stein?
yeah, so there's only 100 of these, so that's really the 3D version. There is a non-3D version, I think that's numbered at 250, and that was from NYCC as well. But this one was the 3D version, sold for $330 for a
Raw?
Critter book.
Yeah.
Raw. For
Yeah.
Critter.
Yeah, shout out to Tom. Tom always down there at Jesse's hanging out, shooting the shit, and I was lucky enough to go in there last week, and people who saw Wednesday night show, I had a ton of pickups I went through because I was going through boxes at Jesse's, and Tom was there, and I ended up grabbing. Jesse was selling on eBay Live, and he had one of those old Death Rattle UFO books, and I'm like, oh, I collect UFO books, I'll buy that, And Tom goes, oh, really? And he goes in the back, and he's like looking around for something. He comes out, and he gives me a Big Dog Inc. book about alien abduction. And I'm like, I was like, sweet, dude. So shout out to Tom Hutchinson, great creator, very cool dude. And you can find him along with Jesse on eBay Live and Comic Book Shopping Network. And he's always doing great Kickstarter campaigns for his books, so be on the lookout. Very, very cool cover too.
Cool.
All right, moving on. This one was weird. I felt like we've talked about this before back in the day, but I forgot about it for the longest time. Rags was such a book that was on everybody was talking about Rags. I mean, whether it was good or bad for a 6-month period. And I totally forgot about this. And it's kind of cool because a zombie shopping spree, as it says. So there you go. Rags prologue. We don't know who published this too, right?
Nope, no publisher listed. So like on the CGC case, it says no publisher listed.
Wow.
Yeah, so very, very strange. Rags, man, they
ruined it.
I mean, you think back over the past 10 years of comics, like Black Mask, I mean, they had the whole world in their hands and just like completely screwed it up. Rags, those guys could have made 50 issues of this thing if they would have just kept and not basically just said screw the collectors. We're doing whatever we want, and all of a sudden,
print more. Yep. They
Well,
devalued their book and they pissed off the collectors, and it died.
Yeah, but what was once dead is still alive in in the comic world because a CGC 9.8 of this sold this week for $350.
Wow.
So there are still Rags collectors out there, amazingly.
Yeah. Really, really rare stuff. I love that stuff. So even if you're not a Rags fan, this might be a book you pick up if you see it. So $300. Moving on. This one's cool. Absolute Day Tripper. I totally forgot about Day Tripper. If you guys don't know, the artist brothers, Gabriel Baugh and Fabio Moon, great creators. They did this. This was an old school DC title. I think what was 10 or 11 issues. And I had no idea that they did an Absolute edition of this.
I did not know that either. And I think did they do it as a black label?
No, it's from 2011, man.
I know, but when they did the Absolute, did they make it a black label?
I don't know. I was going to ask because Absolute, by the way, I think this might be the first time an Absolute edition has ever been mentioned on the show. Right? Because we talk, I mean, for the list, but we've talked about we loved them, but I don't remember there ever being on the list, and here it is.
So this came out this one, the Absolute came out in 2020.
2020, okay.
The series was from 2009. It was DC Vertigo, and so this is it Black Label? I don't know if it's Black Label or not. If anybody knows if it's Black Label, but it very well could be. But cover price on this was $100, which seems like a lot, but
it's about normal for Absolutes nowadays.
Yeah. But it apparently sold out because this thing sells really, really well, and it sold for $180 this week. So, and this just, like I said, this just came out in 2020. So,
certain Absolutes sell for a lot. There's certain planetary ones I think that sell for a lot. The Absolute, God, I can't believe I'm spacing on the Midnighter team. What was the Midnighter and Apollo team?
Authority.
The Authority. There's 2 Absolute editions of the Authority. I think one of them's pretty tough to find. There's some of those that, we talk about the omnibus covers too that sell for a lot, or books that sell for a lot. There's the Absolute ones that sell for a lot too. So be on the lookout for those.
It's a steep buy-in though. $100 is definitely steep.
Yeah, but they're gorgeous. Absolute editions are beautiful. I have a bunch. I have a bunch, and I'm contemplating selling some just because I don't read them anymore, and they look good they look really good in, shelves and cases, but they take up a lot of room. 202 live, you guys, during the almost 10. Let's go ahead and move on to the next book. Gene Simmons' Dominatrix, issue number 1. This is the Joseph Michael Linsner 1 in 10 cover, and this is beautiful. Dude, JML has been killing these Opus covers lately, and I think he's been doing some Dynamite covers. Look how great that hind end looks. That is unreal. And you know what? I went pretty hard on booby and titty books lately, but I've fallen in love with pinup art again in a real heavy way. I went back into the well and started looking at my Vargas prints and Olivia prints, and now I'm finding new pinup artists that are just amazing. Big Clutch showed me one the other night that I'm in love with, and complaining about titty books on Comic Book Drama Alert has me right back into collecting pinup art. So thanks, guys. Appreciate
Awesome.
all that. Yeah.
Have you seen how some of these Opus books have done? Like there's been several that have done well initially. Have they hung around?
I don't really know. I collect. The only Opus books that I've been buying are the Monsters of Metal ones. But man, and I think I got a few of the Dominatrix ones. Didn't Lobos do a Dominatrix issue too? I think, I feel like, but
I don't know. This was the first issue, so
okay. This is awesome, dude. And I love Opus Publishing. I'm loving what they're doing.
Yeah, so it's 1 in 10, selling for 15 to 25. So it's doing a little bit better than Ratio, but I would assume that these are probably pretty low print run.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, I had to ask my the local comic shop by my house to get the ones I was looking for. So they weren't ordering them on regular. But beautiful, beautiful cover. JML just keeps killing it. Moving on. This one's crazy, bro. There's certain runs that when you see in a $1 box, $2 box, $3 box that you just grab every time you see. And probably top 1, 2, or 3 on that list is McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man. And this is one of the covers that always would get probably one of the least amount of loved covers, right? But all of a sudden, it's here on the almost 10. Why?
Okay, so like 9/8 of this sell for like 125. Raw, this thing sells for like $10, maybe. Maybe a high grade copy might run you 15, 20, something like that for near mint.
Yeah.
High grade, decently high graded copy. But there's nothing, as far as I know, there's nothing of
Special.
nothing major importance in here. It does have Silver Sable on the cover, but this is kind of another one of these weird topics that I just kind of wanted to bring up. So a CGC 10 of this was sold this week. I'm not sure how you get a 10 on this book, from 1989, but 10 sold for $4,500.
Wow.
So it's a $10 raw book, maybe $20 raw book for a near mint copy. $4,500 for a CGC 10. Is anybody really think a 10 deserves that?
I don't know, how rare is it, man? Like you said, this is a book that I would never expect to have a 10 out there. Like, you know,
Right.
but
So have you guys ever owned a 10?
no.
No.
I've never had a 10. I mean, I've graded a truckload of books. I've never gotten a 10. I've never gotten a 9.9. I've owned a 9.9. I bought a 9.9, and I will tell you that I looked at the 9.9 in the case, and it looked exactly like a dozen other 9.8s that I have in the case. Like there literally is no difference. I'm not sure. So like when you think like cards, there's PSA 10, and then there's like Beckett Pristine 10s, like the black labels, and you can maybe see a difference, but honestly, even under microscope, I'm not sure you can even tell the difference.
Just if your grader's happy that day.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and I mean, like the code says, it says 100,000 printed, and maybe more, probably more. Again, the difference is not. I think CGC purposefully does not give out very many 9.9s and 10s because, like I said, I've seen 9.9s in person, and they don't look any different than 9.8s. So why aren't there more 9.9s? They set the bar at 9.8 being the PSA 10. So I just don't understand it. 45x from a 9.8 doesn't make any sense.
It makes me kind of think like, oh, okay, well, are they looking at centering at that point? You know, centering of the front and back cover, which they don't talk about in any of their grading books or on their website guidelines. I mean, how do you get a 10? That's crazy, especially a book 1989, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I see all these things, and I get that 10s are ridiculously rare, but they're so rare. There's a lot of 10s of like the like the Last
Prestige,
Ronin and stuff like that. Yeah, like the prestige formats. But honestly, when everybody sends these in, do you look at it and say, "Oh, this is a 10"? No, you look at it and say, "Oh, this is a 9.8 for sure," and then it comes back a 10. Now, if you can't tell the difference out of the case, how would you be able to tell with it slabbed up? How would you even be able to tell? All at that point, you're buying is a label. You're not buying anything special. The book is no different. It's not anything rare. It's just a label that you're spending $4,000 on. Is for a label because
where did it sell, Stein? On eBay, Heritage?
I don't remember exactly. I'd have to look. I'd have to go back and look. But
wow, dude, that's nuts. Man, very interesting. Could be 10s be unpressed books? Dude, I don't know. Again, yeah.
Somebody in the chat said something pretty interesting. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Wookie Fodder. He says, McFarlane 91 run is hot right now. I've been getting a lot of requests for 1 through 16 9.8. Interesting, because this week there was that news about the Spawn movie is really happening, and it's supposed to be like, I can't remember where it came from, but there's some articles on it. It was like 5-6 days ago. Maybe
so. It was on eBay, best offer, and it was a red label, the old red CGC label. Wow,
wow.
So then that makes me even think even more. Like, if they regraded it, would it get a 10? Because if that was graded with a red label, that means it was graded in like 2003.
Could you imagine like buying that book and then being like, all right, let's find out, and they resend it in and it comes back like a 9.2? I would lose it. I would lose it more than I lost it today when I got my boom boxes destroyed and ran over by FedEx. Go check out my IG. Oh, yeah, bro. Check out my IG and my Twitter. Put the video up. Original boombox, where are you at? Come on, give me a call. Quickly. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Almost 10 this week for July 7th, 2023. 7/7/23, you guys. 7/7/23. But that being said, 213 live. Let's get into what you all came here for. Hit those thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let's get into the list. Starting off, our honorable mention this week, Phantom Lady. What number is this?
22.
22. Phantom Lady, number 22.
Who does not love Phantom Lady covers?
Great question.
Is there anybody who doesn't love Phantom Lady covers?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Matt Baker, obviously, in 2021, a CGC 2.0 sold for $1,100, and that was at 2021. So that was when the markets were super high. This week, a raw and Heritage had it graded at 2.5, so like good plus. So raw for $2K. Now, first of all, I know that there are some old time collectors out there who are like, nope, I'm not slabbing this. I want to smell it, or I want to touch it, or something like that. But man, I think you're just playing with fire if you just aren't these books that are 70 years old. I mean, I've been on you, Brian, for your Punch 12 for quite a while, and I know you're scared to death because that thing is falling apart, but it's not going to get any better. I can tell you that.
It's getting ready to head to Hood here shortly, so cross our fingers.
So I mean, if you ever run across any of these fan ladies for cheap, I mean, I don't even know what cheap is anymore. I don't know why I didn't buy these 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I should have been buying them. They just don't. They just have that look of I'm expensive. I'm old and I'm expensive, and everybody wants me.
Man, what is this selling for?
$2K for a raw 2.5.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. I saw a bunch of these raw at a auction years back, and I didn't pick them up. Again, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. So. All right. Moving on to our honorable mention this week, The Unexpected, issue number 127 from DC Comics 1971. The Pied Piper of Ghosts, it looks like.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking this week, but apparently I just wanted to talk about all kinds of different weird subjects or something. I'm not sure how this worked or what I was thinking. But this one sold for crazy. A CGC 9.8 of this sold this week for $2,100, which is a massive premium over what like lower grades sell for this. But I think the point I was wanting to make was that if you are looking for a market that is difficult to find, but two has a huge and very high ceiling, is 70s DC horror.
Yes, you've been saying that for a while.
If you can find high grade of anything DC horror from the 70s, even into like the early 80s. It's very, very, very few and far between of high grade on these. And I don't know what was everybody doing back in the 70s with these books. I mean, it's just a horror. I mean, you can find high grade of a lot of superhero stuff, but man, these horror ones, like, I don't know what those kids were doing that were into horror books, but they sure were not taking care of these books because
they're a bunch of derelicts, lighting them on fire, putting them in their back pockets.
I guess, man, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, I agree with Up the Down 7 that Bronze Age horror is great in both DC and Marvel. Be on the lookout. I even love the horror magazines like Creepy and those early stuff. By the way, you guys, I hear that there are going to be some killer variants coming out for some horror books in the future. I'll just say that. So be on the lookout. Next.
Which horror books?
I'm not going to tell everybody. I'll tell you afterwards, though.
I didn't even know there were any horror books.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. There's a couple of them that are out there. All right, moving on to number 10 this week. My Little Pony, number 14, the retailer incentive 1 in 10 cover with that new vitiligo horse character that, you know, I should have taken my own advice. I didn't pick any of these up, but I did say that I thought it was going to be a big character.
Yeah, you did. You were super into your little ponies.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm not the only one. I saw somebody in here with a pony avatar earlier. Where are you at? Where are the pony fans?
One does not constitute fans.
Oh, yeah. Chat says man card revoked. If it was venomized, would it be revoked?
That's possible.
Yeah, the only My Little Pony cover I own is that venomized one that looks like Amazing Spider-Man 300. I think it was like numbered to 75.
Well, I mean, you're right. So this the B cover, whoever this character is, I don't even know, is on the B cover as well. So the B cover selling decent, selling for like $10. And this one's selling for like 20 to up to 40.
Wow.
For this one. So
great character. You know, when I was a kid, you know, My Little Ponies were out, and I had a female cousin that liked the My Little Ponies, and I used to always go over to their house, and her older brother had all the Star Wars and G.I. Joes, and I would always go straight for those. But dude, my mom collected My Little Pony stuff when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And my mom was in her 20s, and she was just a horse. She loved horses. So I remember her having, buying My Little Pony stuff as a, she was in her 20s. So it's weird how the My Little Pony thing works, but it's all nostalgia. All nostalgia.
Like Beanie Babies.
Yep.
My mom was all into that stuff.
Hey,
and knickknacks and shit.
Hey, bro, I was at the Righteous Pineapple and stuff. Every day, every time the new Beanie Babies came out, I was right there waiting.
Yeah, they were big money back then, dude.
Oh yeah, you could flip some Beanie Babies.
Yeah, all the bears, right? Princess Di Bear. Yeah, I remember all those. And I remember the early ones. You'd have to go look for the early ones that looked a little bit different.
Hey, and they're going to come back at some point.
Yeah, and they're probably selling. They're selling for super cheap too. As a matter of fact, you want to hear something funny? I think this is crazy. So you guys know Sports Card and the sports. What are the two brothers? Sports Card Radio, the twins. So one of the twins made a ton of money on his website about Beanie Babies. That's where he made all his money, is a website for Beanie Babies. So, yeah, man. Yeah.
You like those guys, huh? They kind of annoy me. I liked them at first, but
I think they're funny. They just troll. They're just trolls. They try to act like they're tough guys from Stockton, but
Yeah.
you could tell they're just joking.
They roll with Nick and Nate
Yeah.
Diaz.
If you own this book, you also offer candy to kids. Come on.
With razor blades.
There he is. There's Kevin. Where are you at, Kevin? Nostalgia is addictive. I'm out here collecting Got Milk cartoon ads. You remember those? See, I told you. There's pony fans out there. But I think this is a great character. Be on the lookout for it. If you see it, I think it's worth picking up Spec. It's a great little Spec play. So, and IDW, this is one of the few IDW books that still, people look forward to, these pony books. Shout out to Tony Fleeks and Trish Forstner, who got their start on the pony books. So Shane says Brian didn't choose the brony life, it chose him. It's in my DNA. Yeah. All right. Next, at number 9, Venom 2099 issue 1, number 1. This is from the 2019 run, and this is the first appearance of the second Venom 2099. I love these covers. This is a great looking cover. Just the problem is the trade dress at the top part where they cover the rest of the cover. They didn't need that, right?
No, but it is. This is Crane, right?
Yeah.
It's a good looking cover for sure. So what's funny about this is, and thank you, Chad Cave.
Oh, yeah. We'll wait for it. Chad Cave says, Predator 2 is not 1/10 as good as the original. Unsay it, Brian, with a $20 super chat. Never. I will always say that Predator 2 is better than Predator 1. But that doesn't mean that Predator 1 is bad. I just like Predator 2 more.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Predator 2 is such a good movie, dude.
Man, so you like ponies and Predator 2. All right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
female 29 Venom 29 2099 Alea Bell is the alter ego.
Yep.
And what's the point? And what's the point of this character?
She is the second Venom 2099.
I know, but I mean, like, why do we care?
Did she get moved into a new title? Maybe. Is there any? Where's Ryan? What's the deal with this with Alea Bell? She a new character? She leave the 2099 world, because the 2099 world is really hot right now.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think it has a lot to do with Spider-Verse. I mean, that's my opinion. I haven't really looked into it, but that Miguel O'Hara Spidey 2099 really turned a lot of people on to that character. So maybe people are, maybe investing in that continuity, because it is in the 2099 universe continuity.
Well, I will say that although it is not as good of a cut, this was like a $5 to $10 book. Now it's like 15 to 20. But I will say there is a 1 in 25 to this. That is only selling for like $35. It seems like a steal compared to. Now I do like this A cover better, but I mean, for it to be a 1 in 25 and only selling for maybe 2x what the A cover is selling for is a bit unusual. So,
Right. That's a good point. I like the 1 in 25 too. The ratio incentive, I think, is pretty cool. It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't like cover B. I think cover B is kind of weird.
I like this cover though.
I do. I agree. Moving on to number 8 this week. Ghost Rider, issue number 90 from 1997. Not even the last issue in the run. Issue 93 was the last issue, but they did an issue 94 like 10 years later because they never got to do the finale. But even those the late issues in these runs are, last 5 issues of runs are always, they seem to be low print run, and they sell for a premium. They're tougher to find. This is a great cover too.
It is a great cover, especially for Ghost Rider. It takes a lot for a Ghost Rider cover to be good because so many of them are good.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so over the past 2 weeks, this has went from $25 to $35 to $50 to now $100 raw.
Why? Why is it so much?
I don't
I
know.
don't see any first in there. I mean, there is the second appearance of Gilda, which is she's a crack addict. But
First,
So-
Gilda.
but yeah,
so-
I don't see anything key on here besides it's Comic-Con has it listed under 20K.
Yeah. Man, it can't be just the cover, right? Well, it could be, but I do
not know.
What do like 91 through 93? Do those have a similar premium?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. This is there was, I think I saw sales for 91 at like 80, like 75. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Very, very crazy. So do not forget these late issue Ghost Riders.
Hold on. I think I might have one sitting next to me. Oh, yeah.
I wonder if there's newsstands. Probably is.
Which issue is that?
79. So it's not that late, but it's still kind of late in the run. Ghost Rider.
Is that a newsstand?
It is. It is a newsie.
Wow,
79,
nice. Nice.
Yeah, so I love those final issues. That's always been one of my plays, in my playbook is to look for those final issues. I talk about this all the time. The DC and Marvel changed their logos when they were doing low print run. So you can tell they're low print, especially Marvel, by just looking at the logo or the number box. And I've talked about that on shows before, but it's very easy just to look really quickly. You don't even have to look at the number. You can just look really quickly at how the number box looks or the logo looks, and it's a late print run issue, especially with like things like War Machine, I think, has some really cool late print run issues. Ghost Rider, Darkhawk, Thor, all kinds of crazy Marvel during that time. And I think they were almost going bankrupt at that time too. So they're even maybe more low print run. But yeah, interesting. $100. Wow. There you go, you guys. You never know till you tune into the Hot 10. Moving on. Number 7 this week. A killer Captain America cover by Adi Granov. This is issue 750. This is the 1 in 50. And what a great cover for the 4th. I mean, fantastic.
Is it me, or does it feel like the Granov hasn't put out a cover in a while?
I was just thinking that today when I was looking for this cover and I looked at and I saw his little signature thing pop up. I was like, man, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a hot minute since he's done anything, but maybe he has, and it just hasn't been spectacular or anything like that. But
couple of things going on in the guts in this book. You have a new first appearance of a new Nomad, and then you also have a new, I guess it would be a first appearance of a new look for Sharon Carter. I think they're calling her Destroyer. Because I read the book and they're at this funeral. Spoiler alert, guys. There's like 3 or 4 stories because it's a milestone issue, of course. But in the main story, they're talking. It's like Namor, it's Sharon Carter, it's Captain Marvel, and all the other Captain Americas are talking and going over like politics and stuff. And then Sharon Carter turns into this character that looks like Crossbones, but in kind of like an all white suit. I think the 1 in 10 design has her on the cover, and she calls herself Destroyer, and like the new version. So, and then at the funeral, a new version of Nomad shows up, and Steve Rogers starts talking with him. So.
This is a really small thing, but I think it's super cool. The number color where it's red, white, and blue in the 750 is awesome.
Oh yeah.
What a fucking killer cover this is! Holy cow!
Yeah, this is the way you do it with a milestone issue, I believe. You got a gorgeous Granov cover with a iconic modern age comic artist with Granov. We haven't seen much from him lately, and then you have key stuff going on in story. That's what I like.
The flag is a little weird. I agree with Chad Cave. It's got a little weird look to it on that weird fold above his shield. But other than that, it looks great. There's very, very few things to pick on. So, how much was it selling for?
65 to 75.
That's not bad. It'll probably drop, but wow.
Yeah, I would assume with it being a milestone issue, there's
tons.
Tons of people ordered this.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on to number 6 this week. World Tree is back. Issue number 1, the 3rd print. Now, here's the crazy thing about this book, you guys. This book got so much love, but there are so many damn variants of this book out there that are not good. Maybe that's the reason why some of the 2nd and 3rd prints are selling so much on the secondary market.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them that are good, though, right?
There's a couple, but not a lot. Drew's from Wanted Comics. John Jang is great. What else? I think Hive did a cool one, maybe with Bird City. Did Bird City do one too? I can't remember, but I know that the best one that I saw was the John Jang, and then the Jenny Frison UK one is the best World Tree cover by far. The either foil or glow in the dark one, I can't remember. It was one of the two. Beautiful. But
yeah. Well, yeah, this one is just came out this week, selling for 10 to 15. So it would be, something that would be decent to pick up for cover price or whatever. But other than that, it's one of those things. I mean, it's not that much different than the A cover. I do like the highlights.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
the highlights make it look kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I still haven't read this. I need to actually read this. But
yeah, me too.
Well, moving on to number 5 this week. Halfway through, 222 watching on 7/7/23. Hit that thumbs up. Daredevil issue number 612, the Paulo Rivera Netflix 1 in 10 variant. This book has been on lists, and then it'll get cold, and then it'll get hot again, and it'll get cold, it'll get hot again, and get cold, and now it's hot again.
And it's insanely expensive. Me and Richie were talking about this before the show, and it was selling for about 130, which seems crazy for a 1 in 10. Now, I like the cover. I have no issues with the cover. And you said there's 2 first appearances or 1 first appearance?
No, I said it was a part of the. It's like the end of the arc where Mayor Fisk, and then on top of that you have some recent Born Again news, and the cover is a depiction of Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and they're both going to be in Born Again as well. I think I don't know if this new Elektra news in Deadpool might have helped it a little bit too, but probably not. But yeah, I think as we get closer, that's what we're looking at: Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, and a lot of people love it.
Yeah, well, they love it so much now that it, like I said, it was selling for about 130. Now it's selling for 200 to 300 raw. So It is now a really expensive 1 in 10. Just a one. I know people keep saying it's hard to find, but it is just a 1 in 10. So they've got to be out there somewhere, right?
Yeah,
they're all in Drew's warehouse.
Shout out to Drew, Wanted Comics. What up, man? Shout out to Longshore too. When we were on Flipside, and we were talking about this book, and I believe both of us found copies at Midtown for like $20 or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I have 2 of them, and it was not even close to this. But now this book is a monster.
And you need to sell those 2 books, my friend.
Yeah, but I was telling, he's saying the same thing backstage, and that means I have to dig in my long boxes, and it's hotter than hell in my apartment. So no thanks.
Oh man, dude, that's crazy. Well, let's move on to number 4 this week. A beautiful Jenny Frison 1 in 25 from Barnstormers issue number 1, and this is a great spec play. There is a foil cover of this by Tula Lote that is absolutely beautiful. Be on the lookout for that. And I feel like somebody we know talked about this very early. The first time I saw somebody talking about it was very early on. Might have been Ultra or Gary Comic Perspective, but there was somebody on these early on saying that, you know, be on the lookout, you know, put it on your FOC list. But this cover and the Tula Lote are beautiful.
Yeah, I like Tula Lote.
Yeah.
And this is Dark Horse. They don't do a whole lot of incentive variants. They do some variants, but not generally incentive variants. So this one's a little unusual for Dark Horse, unless they're going to start doing them. I have no idea, but yeah, selling for 40 to 50 right out of the gate. So doing well. Like I said, it's a 1 in 25. So from Dark Horse.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not many of them out there, like you said.
Yeah, I don't know how many retailers are ordering stacks of Dark Horse books.
Yeah, I agree. Probably not a ton right now, but that being said, it is a beaut. It is a beaut. Chloe's Comic Swag talking about that Daredevil book says, I'd sell mine for $350. Speaking of Chloe's Comic Swag, you guys, look at this. Look at what he put on his IG the other day. Man. A 9.6 Wolverine 145, the Nabisco variant, right? Is that what this is? Yeah, the Nabisco variant. Signed signature series. Signed by Len Wein, John Romita, Bill Sienkiewicz, Chris Claremont. This is one of the rarest books that you're gonna see, that you're looking at right now. This is such a rare book and so hard to get in high grade, and looks so good. And I'm so jealous. So congratulations on that, my friend. All right, moving on to number 3 this week. Top 3 list of the list. 229 watching live. Hit those thumbs up. And it's back. Darkwing Duck, issue number 6, the Akira Homage Virgin 1 in 20 variant. Man, beautiful, beautiful book right here.
Yeah, we talked about it on the Almost 10 last week. It was selling for about 20. I mean, so it was doing okay. But apparently it's not as easy to get as they must have thought, because now it's selling for 35 up to 75.
Wow.
For this one. So it definitely went up this week.
Yeah, it sold out. It sold out fast on the online retailer level. A few big online retailers that dropped the books, like you could actually, buy them a week before they come out. They don't ship until they release, of course, but they sold out within the hour. So I like this one. Mel posted this book too, as well.
Beautiful. Great homage. All right, number 2 this week. Oh, Spider-Man 2099, issue number 1, the Toy Biz second printing white variant. Oh, man. This book you could have picked up. It was on buy the dip level for a long time. Not anymore.
Yeah, just 2 months ago, CGC 9.6 had dropped all the way down to $425. Now that's what you're going to pay for a 9.4, because they're selling 9.4s are selling for $400 to $450, and 9.6s are selling for $600. So, yeah, you could have got those 9.6 for 9.4 prices. Just last month, or just within the last 2 months. So
somebody put a picture on their Instagram of them opening up their mint on their carded or their sealed figures.
I saw
to pull
it.
this out. Yeah, who was that?
Yeah, he follows. I think we. Yeah, he follows both of us, or we
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
him too.
yeah.
I saw it.
I'll have to take a look. I think I saved it, but he said he thought it was nice enough copy to maybe get a 9.6, 9.8 with a press. It could get to those levels. So, man, I've talked about this book forever. It's one of my all-time favorite books. Yeah,
Tough and high grade, Brian, because it was in that package.
it has 2 spots on it that get spine ticks because of the packaging. Up top, I think it's right under the number or right by his hand, I can't remember, is probably the toughest one. And on top of that, usually if you find them raw, they're usually pretty tore up because kids played with them for the most part. But you could only get this figure at Toys or Lionel's Play World, Toys R Us, one of the two. I think it's Lionel's Play World. But you could only find, it was an exclusive through them. This and the Ben Riley one were exclusives. You could only get them at that toy store when I was a kid, when in 90s, I think, right? Or 2000, I don't know. I felt like it was even before that. I felt like this came out in the 90s.
I think this came out in 2000.
Maybe.
Or 2001, maybe.
Yeah. But I have KB, thank you, Fighting Codename KB, yeah. I have 3 raws and 2 sealed figures that I'm sitting on.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do those sealed figures go for, if you don't mind me asking?
Dude, during the pandemic when everything was crazy, they were going for $500 to $800. So I don't know what they sell for now. Probably like $253. But it's just like taking a shot on the sorry about that, guys. The Marvel Young Avengers Marvel Legends lot that has the book in the back, So, but great book. Moving on to the number 1 book this week. It's back at number 1. Extreme Venomverse issue number 4, the Takashi Okazaki variant of a great character design for Necroko, right? Is her name. What a great design in this character, man. And she's not a villain. She is a hero, which makes it even more of a spec play.
Is she doing, and I never really saw this until just now, is she doing like the dance from like Pulp Fiction? Like,
I don't know, but she's a big play on Sailor Moon, and the character that the girl that the symbiote is bonded to is a very interesting character. The symbiote, when she's not in symbiote mode, it acts as her little bow in her hair, which is kind of cool. It's just a great designed character. I'm very interested to see in a couple of years what's going on with this character. I really hope that it doesn't die.
For what I read, I don't know, but I think because there's a bunch, there's like 3 stories. So the first character people are calling Flora, but the character's name is Venom Bloom. I don't know where Flora came from because there's not even any dialogue in the first story. The second character is the good story. That's a good story. It's a different Eddie Brock. He's a priest in this continuity, in this universe, and he is. The story is called Venom and Noir. The character, after symbiosis goes through, is Sin Eater Venom. And then the third character who we're talking about right now is a really fun, quirky character. It's one of the worst stories I've ever read. But then once I went back and read it again, I thought it was cool, like Brian said, because she eats the bullies in the school, and she defends the nerds, and that's awesome. But her name is not Billy. It's not Billy Morales. So anybody who is specking on that, you lose. But if you got the 1 in 25, you won because it's up high. But her name is Ellie Ellison, and my guess, shout out to I forgot his name on Twitter. It was his guess, so I'm going to go ahead and agree with him. He believes that character is the Eddie Brock of that universe, Ellie Ellison. So very cool, very cool.
Well, we talked about this on FOC or for solicitations way before FOC. We saw this on solicitations on I think it was a Wednesday or Saturday show, and just the design of the character stood out. And then as soon as we saw this 1 in 25, we were like, oh my God, this is great. I didn't expect it to be as hot as it is, just because, there's so many new characters that are popping up in Spider-Boy. But after seeing the Spider-Boy stuff, I should have realized that, this character is probably going to take off too. I did not buy any of these either. Shout out to who is it on IG? She's I'm spacing on her. Comics Variant Queen. She's in Hawaii. I saw she went to her comic store and picked up 3 of these. She found 3 of these at her local shop. So,
sheesh.
Yeah, she's great on IG. I follow her. I apologize that I'm messing up on your name right now, but she's got a great IG account. So make sure you guys check her out. Yeah, man, I'm liking this. 2 weeks in a row on number 1. Wasn't supposed to come out till this week, but got dropped up early, which is very interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
Before we go, though, I want to say thank you to everybody that watched the show tonight, and thank you for hitting a thumbs up. But I keep forgetting to do it, so we are going to do it today. We are going to read the comments from last week's show, everybody. So let's go ahead and get into it before we call it a night. Here are the comments from last week, starting off with Kenny the Comic Collector. He said, another entertaining show, guys. I have the color and sketch variants of that Secret War 2. I got them both in 2021. I hope that Chloe Bennett reprises her role playing the character in future projects, talking about Quake. I think we all agree on that.
Yes.
Pretty heavy. Yeah. Blood Sausage says, that Aja Psylocke is insane. Thank you guys for another great show. And I think we're all in agreement with that, too. What a beautiful...
Yeah.
Last Ronin cover, or not Last Ronin cover. Ronin 5. Ronin 5.
Five
yeah.
Ronin.
5
Ronin.
Ronin. Thank you. Leverage Comics says, as the show goes on, I find myself far more interested in the Buy the Dip in Almost 10. I love the top 10, have since Wizard, but I would really enjoy a whole Cold Keys show. I'm less interested in one-off sales that are outliers. I'm more interested in the average sales of a Cold Key. Oh, interesting. I think that's kind of how a lot of people feel. The Hot 10 seems like more of, hey, you guys, if you're looking to flip some books, these are the books that you want to flip now, right? Yeah. Almost 10 and Buy the Dip are kind of like the books that these are something you might want to take a look at now and pick up now and hold for a little bit and then sell. Or especially with Almost 10, a lot of those are books that a lot of people have never even seen or heard. So, Hated Kerouac says, miss the Ben. What's that Venom verse selling for? You left us in suspense on the price. Did I forget to ask?
I don't know.
Yeah. DeQuate says, I have that Wonder Woman Amazing Heroes cover. To me, it's Boland's greatest Wonder Woman. It's perfect. Can't take your eyes off of it. Picked up the 5 Ronin Aja for $2 at an LCS a couple months ago. Yeah, that Amazing Heroes Boland was beautiful. Great pick for that book last week, Ben. Kirby Carpenter says, great show, guys. Not a big Silk fan, but that cover with the bubblegum is nice. Agree. Chris Greaves says, they don't call McClay the nubbin for no reason. I don't know what's that in reference to, but yeah. Ludo Toy Hunter says, this week The list week after week proves why CGC and graded books are a scam for any book made after 1975. Grading is basically for preservation of older materials to keep them in the best condition possible from the time they were graded on forward. And for rare materials that have 3,000 copies or less, I'm not going to read all this as it's a lot.
I saw that. I was
Holy
like, whoa.
cow. But he basically,
He's passionate.
Yeah, he's passionate. So shout out to Ludo Toy Hunter. Topher says 0-0. The reason that comic is hot is usually due to Chris Ware fans. There you go. The monkey cover.
Topher's the man.
I want that 0-0.
Yeah. Cherokee Metal Comics says, so a YouTube channel decided to make sure Turok was in the top 10 list. Looked like it worked. LMAO. Yeah, it definitely worked. Junior JR art has been on the slide for some time now. Remember the Moon Knight cover and that weird leg? Yes. Brian Boland, this is Bam123412, says Brian Boland lives in my dad's village. I keep asking him to get me an autograph. Wow, that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Chris Greaves says, lol, the 4th of July was the day we finally shook off those crazy Yankee people. Phew. Topher says, oh, hey, Ben, I have those Arrows covers you were looking for. Hit me up. There you go, dude. Volsey says, devil horn, devil horn, devil horn. And I respond with devil horns. Warriors for Info TV says Penguin from Random House. Toy Times Studios 247 says LMAO Pen 15. And Preemptive PMP says
Anthony Gutierrez.
And shout out to Anthony. It says wrong on second prints being better, especially number 8. You guys are crazy. First print is more and better. Second print came out later and shouldn't even be a first appearance. And there is a lot of talking. Sum it up for us, Richie.
Oh well, I he's got his opinion. I have mine, and I said that I like the second print because you can clearly see Quake on the cover, and 9 out of 10, 9.99 out of 10 people didn't even know Quake was on the cover of the first print until the second print was released, where you can clearly see her. And then I ended it with saying, hey, late printings are collectible, are now a part of the market, and you denying that is, it's the logic silly in that. Saying it's dumb. It's a fact. I mean, it's now a part of the hobby. Plain and simple.
Mac at Sin City, you really want to read that paragraph?
Go ahead, read it. I got nothing else to do.
The list this week proves why CGC. Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm just joking. It says a lot of stuff that I can't get into, but shout out to Ludo Toy Hunter 6 days ago for this.
He's good. I really like Ludo Toy Hunter. He's got some really good points. This one was a little bit off the rails, but like I said, he's very passionate in what he believes, and he obviously is, passionate about grading and his conspiracy behind it.
He says comics were never meant to have number grades along with their condition grades. It works for cards because it is a flat 2D piece of cardboard, and the consistency among grades stay the same. Comics too have many different layers and variables to do number grading, and it's incredibly difficult to get consistency right when you're trying to account for all these different variables. Near mint should be good enough grade with plus and minus for better or worse. Then that's that. These numbers have people losing their minds. About 0.2 of a grade, and they don't even know where the discrepancy even lies on their book, which you were talking about earlier, Stein, tonight. Light grading has made people look down on near mint comic books. How insane is that? The rarest of rare, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the first print, which is a 3,000 copy printed run, gets looked at sideways, even if it's not 9.8. I don't believe that's true at all. But
no, I would take a TMNT 1 in a 1.0.
Yeah,
right.
I'd take anything of that. Even though we as collectors know what happened to the original print run of those books and how many copies were damaged in shipping and transit before they're even released in the 1984 comic convention. People want a unicorn miracle out of someone's ass on books like this and certain newsstand copies of books when they already know the rarity of the books and the reason they are so rare. Transit and handling and commercial shipping is poor and a lot of damage happened to those books. I have washed my hands of snooty grading and picky collectors who are new to collecting books or are addicted to certain condition graded book. Doesn't sound like it. You have washed your hands of it. Sounds like you wrote a pretty big paragraph about it, but I'm glad you did because we got to talk about it tonight. So thank you for that.
It's gonna suck. Or if you don't like graded books, then definitely do not think about Stein Pack 7 because all packs are going to have a graded book in it. So
it sounds like Stein Pack 7 is going to be glorious.
It's going to be off the chains.
Yeah. So when is that going to happen, brother?
I am waiting for one last order to come back from CGC. As soon as it gets here, then I will go live. So maybe within the next 2 weeks, as fast as CGC has been. So that's my hope, is within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome. So be on the lookout. You guys follow Stein's social media. He's doing it a very cool way this time. And I think he's doing something special for the community members here. So make sure you know what's going on. And it's not hard to find out. So, Stein, love you, brother. Richie, love you, brother. We'll see you guys tomorrow night on Modern Comic Mayhem on Beyond Wednesdays. Adios.
See you.